Stepping over dollars to pick up dimes in nutrition. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. And today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about this idea. And what I mean by that is that people will chase very minor things in their nutrition that in some cases might help, but only a very, very, very tiny effect. Or things that may not help at all or could even potentially be harmful. But even if they did work, no reasonable person would think that they're more than a very small difference. And they will ignore the big stuff. Well, what do you mean by a lot of the big stuff? Are you tracking your calories? Do you know how many calories you're eating every day? That's really high on the list. Okay? All the leading experts agree and understand this. Of course, people will make silly arguments like calories in versus calories out is a debunked concept, which is an insane response. The exact opposite has been found to be true in the lab repeatedly. And I think where they mix it up is they assume that all calories in is equal in terms of what happens on the calories out. And that's not true, right? A lot of things that happen on the calories out end are impacted by what you take in, okay? Doesn't change the caloric value of what you're taking in, though. Such as some foods have a different thermic effect or a different effect on NEAT or whatever on the output side. All right, calories is a big one. Okay. People will literally, instead of looking at these basic things like tracking calories, will argue about stuff like GMO foods. Okay. Is my food GMO or non-GMO? Compared to the important stuff, that topic should be so far down your list of things that you are looking at. And I mean, I see people who worry about stuff like that who literally have trash dumpster diets. Like you look at the rest of the nutrition practice and go, even if it mattered a little bit, it should still be the least of your concerns with what you eat. Because your diet's that bad. And it'll be a person who's clearly very unhealthy, even obese. All right? This is not near the top of your priorities. And I'm not saying it's not something you shouldn't think about or research either. Okay, fine, do plenty of research. Look into what all the available science says on it. I mean, by all means, I'm not telling you not to. But something like that compared to how much table sugar are you eating versus and how many calories you're eating is pretty far down the list. All right, but right up there, let's talk about that next. How about reducing the amount of refined sugar you eat? You know what? Pretty much every expert in the field of nutritional science around the globe agrees with that. Yeah, we should definitely be moderating that. Refined sugar, and let's place it all in one category. Again, you'll see the sort of arguments people make is they will argue about something like table sugar, which is sucrose versus high fructose corn syrup, as if there's any evidence that there's a significant difference that one is worse than the other. No, limit your refined sugars. Replacing one refined sugar with another refined sugar is, quite frankly, stupid. Okay, let's be honest. Really, really and truly. And I've seen it. People will do that. Well, this has real sugar, not that high fructose corn syrup. And it's like, you do realize they're both garbage. Okay. Then they'll try to argue that it's not true. It's like, no, they're both garbage. I don't want to get into all the biochemistry, but they are garbage. There's no significant difference. And they'll argue about it. It's hilarious. It's like, yeah, you want to eat that crap, then don't complain when you're sick and diabetic and fat and unhealthy and have all these problems. And pretend that one is worse than the other. How about you just limit your refined sugars in general, like all the experts tell you to do? And that's what I mean. That's an example of literally a 1 to 2% difference in fructose content. Instead of saying, hey, maybe I should just be really seriously limiting my refined sugars in general across the board. See how easy that is? That's a beautiful example of stepping over dollars. Let's limit refined sugars to pick up dimes. I think the high fructose corn syrup might be worse than the table sugar. I mean, technically it is, but it's too small of a quantity to matter. Like, this is not going to be make or break you. That's a perfect example. I mean, another perfect example, we should be limiting alcohol. What's the optimal intake of alcohol for health? 0. Okay? And that is a generally agreed upon fact, in spite of an occasional rare study here or there showing one specific type of alcohol might help with one specific health outcome. When overall, all alcohols is a poison. It is a literal poison in your body. Your liver has to process, and if your liver doesn't, you will die from it. It will kill you. It is not subject to debate. Without your liver to save you from it, it is a poison that would kill you. It's going to do it anyways, but it's just going to take longer. Your liver will keep you alive longer, handle more of it. But that's an example. Someone who drinks alcohol literally worrying about a GMO or pesticides in their food. You drink alcohol. Like this is not even in the ballpark of level of concern in a worst case scenario compared to that glass or two of wine you have every Friday night. And notice I didn't say people who drink a lot. I said that glass or two. They're not comparable. Again, cutting the alcohol out of your diet would be worth 100 times more than worrying about pesticides in foods. Again, not saying we should never be concerned with pesticides in foods, but you are literally eating a poison that is going to give you 100 times more toxicity than any worst case potential scenario on the pesticides. Reduce your alcohol consumption would be worth way more. Even if it's only partially reducing it by any amount, half a drink a week, would be more significant. Another perfect example. Limiting saturated fat and added fats in general. Arguing about what sort of fats you're adding to your diet. Does olive oil, when it's put to extreme temperatures, oxidize at an excessive rate? How about you just quit deep frying your foods in commercial fryers? How about you quit adding butter and oils to everything that you eat? There's a perfect example. I mean, same thing, worrying about these oils while they're eating a bunch of saturated fat. I mean, really? Do you really think that's supported by the evidence? How about we start limiting saturated fat intake and maybe quit adding extra fat to everything that you eat? Or how about we just moderate it? Instead of saying don't add it, how about you just moderate it in general? Again, stepping over dollars to pick up dimes. This is what I mean. People ignoring common sense and good data over extremist stances. Okay, so what could you take from all this? Instead of some of this other stuff that people spend too much time worrying about when they haven't covered the basics, are you tracking your calories? Are you eating enough fruits and vegetables? Are you limiting refined sugars? Are you limiting saturated fat and added fats? Are you limiting alcohol consumption? Right? These are the big ones. These are the big ones. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.